Hello you guys, welcome back to another video on my channel. If you are coming back for another time, thank you so much for coming back to watch another video here on my channel. If you are not already subscribed and you've already watched more than one video, definitely think about subscribing. And if you're new here, hello, my name is Erin and this is my channel where I like to talk about all things movies, beauty and books. So I do makeup videos, movie reviews, and first time watches to movies, as well as talking about books I'm reading or going to be reading. So today we're going to be doing a movie review to a movie that just came out and that I just saw literally 2 days ago, which is The Conjuring, The Devil Made Me Do It. So I've had some time to sit on it and think about my thoughts on the movie, and I've written down some notes here on what I want to talk about on my review here today. So if you're interested in seeing my thoughts on The Conjuring, The Devil Made Me Do it, then definitely just keep on watching. Like I said, hit the like button if you like this video and subscribe down below if you want to stick around and see more content from me. Without further ado, let's go ahead and hop into the review. Alright you guys, going right into my thoughts about this movie. First, I'm going to give you guys a quick little overview of what the movie was about and give some background. So this movie is directed by Michael Chavez. This is the third in the Conjuring, like straight just the Conjuring movies. It's part of obviously the Conjuring universe, which has lots of different movies, including like The Nun, the Annabelle series, The Curse of La Llorona. But this one in particular is straight up part of the specific Conjuring movies. So this is the third Conjuring movie that we've had that more focuses on Ed and Lorraine Warren. So the self-proclaimed demonologist, is that how you would call that? You guys know what I'm talking about. And it's the Conjuring movies are more focused on their cases that they were involved with. So the first one and the second one that were already out. I really enjoyed the first Conjuring. The second one I really enjoyed as well. And then this third one is more focusing on the famous case where the guy, used as his defense that the devil made him do it, which was like the first time I think in American history. And this one occurred, I believe, in 1981 in real life, and the movie is set at the same time. So it's following that case where the guy committed murder on his landlord. I think his name was Arnie in real life as well as it is in the movie. Correct me if I'm wrong. And he went to trial and he said the devil made him do it. So that's kind of like the background stuff there. This is the only of the three Conjuring movies that is not directed by James Wan, but he still had a hand in this movie as well. So as I was saying, the director is Michael Chavez, who I believe also directed The Curse of La Llorona. So that's pretty much all the background information. First, I'm going to go into, I have 3 little points here to go through my thoughts, and then I'll tell you guys what I thought of the movie. So first of all, going right into the plot and the story. Like I said, we were focusing on this guy that committed this murder. But when we first come into the movie, we're looking at an exorcism of a young boy named David Glatzel, and I hope I'm saying that right if I remember correctly. I wrote it down, David Glatzel, and this happened in real life where this young boy was thought to be possessed and the Warrens were contacted to come in and do an exorcism. And so that's what we start in on. Is it comes in with a strong impact, a strong bang when we first get into the movie. Seeing this boy and the exorcism, it's all very fast paced right at the beginning of the movie. And the boyfriend of the little boy's sister, named Arnie, is there during the exorcism. He invites the demon in to himself, saying like, leave this little boy alone, take me instead, which apparently that does happen. But in the midst of the exorcism, some stuff happens. I'm not going to try to give too much detail because I don't want to spoil the movie. I'm trying to make this as spoiler free as possible, but that's basically what happens like in the first like 5 minutes, and all of that's based on supposedly real life stuff that happened. So hopefully that's not too much of a spoiler. But anyways, then a few weeks later, this is when the murder happens, and apparently it is because he invited the demon into himself. So bam, that's the kind of story that we're getting into, and that's pretty much about the first 20-ish minutes of the movie. And we quickly move away from that though, which that was seemingly what the whole movie was supposed to be about, and it starts to go in a completely kind of different like track when we start talking about why this was happening to them in the first place, and it gets into a lot of occult and witch territory where they're trying to track down this witch and they're thinking that they were cursed and all this stuff, and that kind of completely, it does completely veer off of kind of the main plot that we were thinking it was going to be about at the beginning of the movie. I thought it was going to be more court drama and them arguing in court and sort of trying to pull evidence to say why he was really possessed by a demon. And it does kind of, go that route, but more than us being in the court and seeing like that, those happenings going on, we're more focused on Ed and Lorraine Warren as they're investigating this occult, witchcraft, demon worshipping stuff. So definitely was not what I was expecting at all, at all, but that's what we got. And so it completely veers off to that for about 70 minutes of just them trying to track down this witch. And I'm trying to be as vague as possible so that I don't spoil it, but basically that's what we see throughout the whole entire movie. And it doesn't really too much focus on Arnie or the Glatz family as we would see in the first Conjuring or the second Conjuring, where they really focused in on the family and how they were affected and what was happening to them. We didn't get as many scares in that aspect. We got more scares with Ed and Lorraine Warren and sort of focusing more on them and like their romance and blah blah blah, which it's not a bad thing necessarily, because I do really like the characters, specifically in the Conjuring universe of Ed and Lorraine Warren. I like those characters, which are fictional characters based on real people, you get what I'm saying? And those characters are actually very entertaining. And because Vera Farmiga and Patrick Wilson are so good in their parts, they're really good actors, of course, and they really bring those characters to life. It makes it enjoyable. It makes you interested to see what's going to happen to the Warrens within this fictional Conjuring universe. So that part was okay. So that kind of leads me into the second point, which are the characters. The characters are okay, especially, like I said, the Warrens. The Vera Farmiga and Patrick Wilson always do a really great job. They're always captivating. You want to see what's going to happen for them. You're invested in these characters. But the side characters I felt were a little less utilized well in this story versus in other Conjuring movies, because we don't spend that much time with the Glatz family or with Arnie as you would have expected, especially considering the title of the movie was The Devil Made Me Do It, and we're talking about this famous case. We don't spend that much time with these other secondary characters as you would have thought based on like the trailer. You know what I'm saying? It's more focused on the Warrens, which, like I said, not a bad thing, but at the same time, just unexpected. And it kind of makes the other characters less important, and also kind of almost a waste in a way, because we don't really get to connect with them as much. You don't spend that much time with them, you don't know much about them. So I think that was a kind of a negative there, because it would have been good to kind of get a little bit more insight into this family, into Arnie, and just see their characteristics a little bit more. And maybe they could have done a did he really possessed or not type of thing. That would have been really interesting to sort of play on that, like, was he really possessed or was he not? That would have been a really cool angle, I think, to go into. But that's just not the way they went. They went with the more, yes, they were definitely cursed, this is some occult thing, and we're chasing this witch that we've never heard of, and she's out in the, wherever, and they're just looking for her. So I think they could have went in a different direction and made this a little bit more interesting, but that's the way we went. And then my third point is the atmosphere of the movie and the cinematography. I actually think this movie is pretty much like all the Conjuring movies. It's very much polished. It's filmed really well. There are some very expressive and well filmed scenes. There's good atmosphere. There's really good cinematography. We get some good scary moments, I would say, and the way they were filmed was very nice. For example, there's one scene in the woods, which was in the trailers as well, so this is not really like a spoiler in it, but there was like a scene where Lorraine was in the woods and she was having these moments, and it just went dark. I thought that was filmed really well, and that was also a very good visually, it looked really, really nice. There's also a scene when they're in the morgue, which was really scary as well. That whole sequence when they were in the morgue, very, very good. But like I was saying, the atmosphere is good, the cinematography is good, but I don't feel that it is making up for how wonky and all over the place the kind of story and plot is. If they had more focused on in that, like I said, the trial, or maybe giving us some kind of was he or was he not really possessed, or you know what I'm saying, just something a little bit more interesting. It almost feels like the court story and the story of Arnie and the Glass family was not interesting enough to base the whole movie on and have a whole, you know, however many minutes or however long the movie was, for it to focus just on that, and that they added in all this extra stuff in order to fill up the time in the movie. So what do I think of this overall? It's okay. It's good. Like I said, there are some good little scary moments. There are some good little sequences. But overall, I didn't think it was as good as the first or the second Conjuring. I think those just have a little bit more tight story-wise. And this one just had a lot of extra fat on there that wasn't needed. Although fat on steaks are really... You guys get what I'm saying. Like, it was a lot of extra stuff on there that just wasn't needed in the story. And I feel like the added plot of the witch stuff that really wasn't having anything to do with the true story that this was based on was kind of just out of nowhere. And I know that they're going to have to add extra stuff into the plot. Obviously, this is a fictional movie. Obviously, it's not going to be completely true, and I never expect going into these movies that I'm going to be looking at a completely true story, even though they were based on real events. But I feel like it just wasn't enough with the story that they chose to actually do a full movie with, and they just added in extra stuff that kind of was just completely unbelievable to me personally. So, not the best of the Conjurings for sure. Definitely like the first and second one best. But I don't think this is a terrible movie either. I wouldn't say that this is like the worst movie I've ever seen, or you shouldn't see it. I definitely think it's worth watching. But overall, and then some parts of it almost kind of were a little slow for me. And I just think that there shouldn't be any slow parts, especially in this type of thriller, horror, paranormal, ghost, demon type of a movie. You should be on it. And there shouldn't really be, the pacing or something about it was just... there were parts of it that were a little boring. So yeah, overall, definitely think the first one would be like an A, the second one would be like a B, and this one for me would definitely be like a C minus. I think that even though there were some great sequences, it just did not live up to the first or second Conjuring. So that's my overall thoughts for this one, you guys. Do you agree with me? Have you seen this? I watched it on HBO Max. My sister has a subscription, so we all watched it. And I didn't see it in theaters. Maybe I would have had a better experience seeing it in theaters, and I think that would have definitely helped. But overall, I'm not seeing a whole lots of like glowing reviews from people anyways, and I kind of agree. I think it's just kind of mediocre. It wasn't the best. Yeah, so that's my thoughts on this. Definitely leave me your thoughts down below. What did you think of The Conjuring, The Devil Made Me Do It? Are your thoughts similar to mine, or do you completely disagree? Let me know down below, of course, respectfully, what were your thoughts on this movie. And I'll check you guys out very, very soon in the next video. Stay safe. Adios.